Welcome to this critical six-figure freelancers analysis. If your goal is to, really operate in that upper echelon of independent consulting where your income scales, but in a way that doesn't just crush you under the weight of it all, then this session is absolutely essential. We're diving into a paradox that, honestly, it trips up almost every talented professional I've ever seen.
It really does.
The secret to high-value consulting, it's surprisingly not about optimizing your delivery. It's about mastering refusal. It's about learning how to say no strategically, consistently, and, well, without feeling like you have to apologize for it.
That's the core of it. It's the central blind spot. We see so many consultants who they hit a wall.
Yeah.
And they're brilliant.
Yeah.
They deliver amazing results, but their income just plateaus.
Yeah.
Right around that mid-5-figure mark.
Yeah.
You just can't seem to break through to multiple six figures.
Right.
And our research, it shows exactly why. They're doing things that feel responsive.
Inherently responsible, yeah. Like being responsive, being available.
Exactly. Taking on those smaller jobs just to fill the gaps in the calendar. Thinking that, any revenue is good revenue.
Of course.
But that behavior is profoundly destructive. I mean, it destroys your long-term profitability and, crucially, your authority. They're consistently saying yes to the wrong work.
And what I find so frustrating about this is what we call the good intentions trap. The motivations behind it they're completely understandable, admirable even.
They are.
You want to stay busy, an idle calendar feels dangerous, right? That just seems like good business sense.
It feels like failure.
It does. And you need to keep the cash flow steady, so you worry about turning down any guaranteed money on the table. And sometimes, let's be honest, you just genuinely want to help someone. They came to you with a problem, you feel like you can solve it.
You want to be the hero.
Exactly. But if fear or just simple empathy is dictating your acceptance policy, you're basically just inviting chaos into your business.
You really are. You're mistaking activity for productivity.
That's a great way to put it.
And volume for value. For the professional who's still, climbing that ladder, revenue is revenue. A full calendar feels like stability.
Right.
But for the six-figure professional, your calendar and your mental capacity, they are finite resources. You have to manage them like premium real estate.
Okay.
So if these benevolent motivations override your strategic assessment, they lead you straight to accepting toxic work.
So that $2,000 project you took just to cover rent this month.
That's not a safety net. That's a self-imposed barrier. That little project is what's going to cost you a $20,000 opportunity next quarter. It's a direct trade-off.
So this six-figure freelancers session is our blueprint for strategic refusal. We are going to define the cost, what the wrong work actually costs you, in time, in energy, in your brand identity.
And then the flip side.
We'll lay out the positive checklist. What does the right work look like specifically? And then finally, we will detail the 3 non-negotiable filters you have to build to ensure you get the respect, the focus, and the high-level success you're really aiming for.
Let's do it. Let's stop the drain.
Okay, so let's unpack this. If the motivation to stay busy comes from, a rational, good place, why does accepting the low-value work that comes from that, why does it become so deeply toxic to the business model?
It's a compounding problem.
The analysis we've conducted is incredibly detailed on this, and it isolates 6 specific compounding consequences that really they drain a consulting practice from the inside out.
And we have to start with the transactional cost.
Yeah.
This is the first layer because this is where the money literally bleeds out, and it's often totally unnoticed.
Yeah.
The first consequence is this massive time and money imbalance. The wrong work fills your time, yes, but it absolutely sabotages your bank account.
This is the difference between being busy and being profitable.
Precisely. It's the utilization rate versus your actual profitability. And I think we need to get numerical here to really show the scale of the problem.
Please do. That distinction between utilization and profitability is, I think, something busy people just overlook constantly.
So, okay, imagine 2 consultants. Let's call them Consultant A and Consultant B.
Okay.
Consultant A is 100% utilized. Working 40 hours a week feels great, right? But it's on a project with a super low margin. Let's say they're paid $75 an hour.
Which sounds okay on the surface.
It sounds okay, but because of poor scoping, endless revisions, and just general client friction, their true margin after overhead is only 10%.
Wow.
So they are busy, they feel incredibly productive,
Yeah.
but they only net about $300 that week in actual profit.
All that work. for $300.
All that stress. Now, let's look at consultant B. They're only 50% utilized, working just 20 hours. But it's on a strategic, highly efficient project where their margin is 75%.
That's a huge difference.
Huge.
Yeah.
So even if their gross rate is, say, $200 an hour, their net profit for those 20 hours is $3,000.
10 times more for half the work.
10 times more. Consultant A felt responsible, felt busy, but systematically, they destroy their own wealth creation. The wrong work demands immense effort for just marginal return.
That numerical comparison just makes the opportunity cost feel astronomical. And that efficiency loss, that leads us right into the second consequence, doesn't it?
It does.
Which is that low-value work actively blocks you from high-value opportunities. We call this the high-value blockade.
It's a blockade. It's not just that you don't have the time to do the high-value work. That's what people think.
Right.
The real problem is you don't have the time to pitch or even prepare for the high-value work.
Ah, the business development side.
That's the part that gets killed. If you are chained to that $50 an hour project for 20 hours a week, you cannot possibly dedicate 4 solid deep work hours to crafting a sophisticated, personalized $100,000 proposal for a premium enterprise client.
You just don't have the headspace.
You lack the strategic headspace and the simple availability. The most critical hours for a 6-figure freelancer are not the delivery hours. They're the ones you spend on business development, on thought leadership, on networking.
That's the real work of scaling.
It is. And when low-margin work consumes your prime creative hours, you are physically unable to engage the premium market. Your entire capacity is it's exhausted by noise.
And it's not just the time deficit, is it? Beyond the sheer hours, we have the third consequence, which is deeply personal but also profoundly economic energy depletion. The wrong work literally drains your mental energy and that cognitive tax. It impacts every other part of your business.
This is where the cost becomes visceral. You can feel this one.
Yeah.
We found a really clear pattern in the research. Low-paying clients almost always come with an infinitely higher mental tax.
Why is that? What's the connection?
Well, they might be poorly structured internally, have vague goals, require excessive hand-holding, demand unrealistic revisions, or they just lack the internal decision-making authority to move things forward efficiently.
So you're managing their chaos.
You're managing their chaos. Think of the classic terrible $500 client anecdote.
Oh, we all have one.
Everyone has one. The one who emails you 7 times a day, demands a meeting to discuss a comma placement, and then, at the end, asks you to just throw in an extra service for free.
Ah, yes.
That psychic drain, that frustration, it spills over. When you finally sit down to work on your actual high-value tasks, you're less sharp, you're less creative, your critical thinking abilities are just compromised.
You're running on fumes.
This is a direct operational cost of low-value acceptance. You can't perform at a peak level when your batteries are constantly being depleted by stressful noise.
Okay, so if those transactional costs aren't scary enough, I mean, they are, but now we get to the long-term systemic damage. This is what we've termed the strategic identity crisis.
This is the really dangerous part.
The fourth consequence detailed in the analysis is this vicious cycle. Accepting bad work attracts more low-value clients.
Absolutely. The market is constantly reading your behavior. It's watching you.
It's sending a signal.
It's sending a huge signal.
Yeah.
Every project you list in your portfolio, every price point you accept, every referral you honor, it all sends a message.
So what's the message?
When you consistently take on cheap, rushed, or just basic execution work, the market learns that this is what you do. This is the price range you operate in. You are essentially generating noise that clogs your pipeline, and it invites an endless stream of clients who are looking for vendors, not strategic partners.
So you're not getting calls from the people you want to be working with.
No. The market will send you what it sees you accepting. It's that simple.
So that $5,000 you took for a quick fix job, it's not just $5,000. It's actively setting the anchor price for your next 2 years of contracts.
That's it.
And that ties right into the fifth consequence, which is that it reinforces a low-price identity.
And that perceived identity is incredibly difficult to shake off. It sticks to you.
How so?
If you're flexible on your rates, you take a discount just to stay busy. During a slow month, clients don't see that as kindness or flexibility.
What do they see it as?
They perceive that as your true floor price. That's what you're actually worth.
Ah.
So future prospects, especially the ones who come through referrals from that discounted client, they will anchor their expectation at that lower figure. They'll ask, well, if you did it for them for X, why are you trying to charge us 3X?
And you have no good answer.
You have no leverage. You systematically shift the negotiation leverage against yourself, making it impossible to justify the six-figure fees that come with being a strategic expert.
It sounds like taking low-price work is just the ultimate form of self-sabotage. You're setting your own ceiling lower with every single yes.
You are. And that brings us to the sixth and, I think, perhaps the most tragic consequence of all.
Okay.
Low-value work stops you from positioning yourself as the expert you truly are.
You become a commodity.
A total commodity. If the projects you accept are too basic, if you're constantly doing data entry, simple implementation, or transactional execution, you are seen as a set of hands, a laborer, a vendor who executes tasks someone else thought up.
Right.
High-value consultants, the ones achieving that six-figure status, they are strategic partners. They solve complex, multi-million-dollar business problems. If your current workload doesn't reflect that strategic authority, the market will not grant you the premium fees or the respect that comes with it. You move from being the strategic brain to just the order taker.
So if we zoom out and look at the whole picture, the ultimate price of saying yes to the wrong work is that it creates this active, self-imposed barrier.
Exactly. It's a wall you build yourself.
It blocks the right work from ever even reaching you. You've filled your calendar with noise, you've depleted your energy, you've signaled a low-price identity to the market, and now you have effectively disqualified yourself from the very engagements that offer the strategic challenge and the financial reward you need to scale.
That's the core realization. You're not just missing opportunities, you're actively preventing them from ever finding you.
That analysis really hits home. I mean, the cost is so much greater than just a few hours lost. It's an entire systemic liability.
It is.
So, okay, let's make the positive shift. If we need to strategically decline the wrong work, what exactly should a professional who's focused on six-figure results be seeking? We need a clear, actionable, positive checklist.
We do. And the research provides 7 specific pillars that define a truly high-value engagement.
And this list is more than just a list, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. This list is the filter itself. It forces the consultant to stop asking, can I physically do this job? And instead start asking, is this the right job for my strategic business model?
I love that framing.
The first 2 pillars are completely non-negotiable, and they have to coexist. The work must be strategic and profitable.
Okay, wait, isn't that a little counterintuitive? If I can make, say, $200 an hour doing highly efficient but very simple data cleaning, which is profitable, why is that worse than $200 an hour doing complex strategic advice? Where's the long-term risk if the money is good in the moment?
That's a great question. And the risk is twofold, and it goes right back to that identity crisis we were talking about.
Okay.
Profitability alone. That can lead you down a path of high-volume, repeatable, but ultimately low-impact tasks. You become a really efficient cog in a small machine.
You're maximizing efficiency on small problems.
Exactly. Strategic work, by its very definition, means you are addressing the client's core, existential business problems, the things that genuinely move their needle by millions, whether that's revenue generation, massive efficiency gains, or critical risk mitigation.
And that's the key to justifying higher fees.
That positioning is what justifies premium, scalable fees. If the work is merely profitable, but it isn't strategic, you limit your authority. The goal is to move beyond charging for time, even efficient time, and start charging for solving million-dollar problems for thousands of dollars.
So the strategic value creates the justification for the next big fee increase.
It's the engine for growth. Strategy fuels the fee, and profitability ensures the business stays viable while you do it. They are intrinsically linked for scalable success.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. They have to work together.
They do. And that brings us to the third pillar, which speaks directly to the scalability of a true six-figure freelancer. Repeatability.
Talk to us about why repeatability is so crucial, especially for someone trying to scale without having to immediately hire a huge team.
Repeatability is the secret to leverage. It means you've successfully turned your core expertise into a systematized product or a service. You have a repeatable framework.
Like a signature process.
Exactly. Say, the 4-step sauce onboarding audit or the executive communications playbook. Every single time you perform this service, you get faster. Your templates improve, your research is limited, and the outcome is better, faster, and more predictable for the client.
Can you give us the math on that?
Let's look at the math. If your first engagement requires 80 hours of effort to complete, but by refining your templates and your process, the next one only takes 60 hours. And the one after that takes 40 hours.
But you're charging the same premium fee.
But you charge the same premium fee. Your effective hourly rate has just skyrocketed. This increase in efficiency is how you scale profitability dramatically without adding staff, protecting your time and your energy.
So the moment you accept a highly customized one-off project,
You destroy it. You introduce massive operational inefficiency. A bespoke project that requires unique research and starting from scratch is the enemy of scale.
that really reframes efficiency in a powerful way. You're charging for the system, not just your hours.
Exactly. Now let's move to the pillars of fit and value, because these are what ensure the relationship is mutually beneficial and sustainable. The fourth pillar states the work must be clearly aligned with your niche.
We preach specialization a lot, but what's the direct benefit here in terms of filtering work?
It's all about authority reinforcement and market clarity. When the work aligns specifically with your specialty, let's say you only handle regulatory compliance for decentralized finance protocols, you are not competing with general business consultants.
You've taken yourself out of that rat race.
You instantly reinforce your position as the specific solution, the absolute authority. This dramatically limits your required research, it significantly reduces your overall effort, and it drastically reduces the competition for that client. High-value clients seek highly specialized authorities because what they really want is risk mitigation and certainty.
So if the job description is too general,
It's likely not the right work for a specialist.
okay. And that leads, I guess, naturally to the fifth pillar. The work must be valued by the client. This sounds obvious, but you said many consultants confuse value with desire.
They do. A client can desire an outcome without valuing the work required to get there.
So how do we spot the client who truly values the work versus the one who just wants the outcome on the cheap?
You connect high value to low friction. It's a simple test.
High value, low friction. I like that.
A client who deeply values the outcome because they understand the specific ROI your compliance work provides or how your marketing strategy will deliver millions in future sales is far less likely to haggle over the price.
They see it as an investment.
They're less likely to demand endless, frivolous revisions and significantly less likely to cause unnecessary stress. They see your fee as a necessary investment with a clear anticipated return, not just a cost center to be minimized.
So if a prospect is fighting you tooth and nail on a $10,000 project,
They fundamentally do not value the strategic importance of that work. That's a huge red flag. Clients who value the output respect the process, and that is the cornerstone of a low-stress six-figure engagement.
that's a fantastic measure. Okay, so let's transition to the operational health pillars. This is like the protective armor against all the pain points of wrong work. The sixth pillar demands that the work be clear in scope.
This is the absolute non-negotiable foundation for protecting your fee. If the scope is vague, help us fix our website or improve our company culture, you are essentially signing a blank check for your time and expertise.
But setting yourself up for failure.
Completely.
Right.
Clear scope defines the boundaries, the deliverables, what you will do, and maybe more importantly, the exclusions, what you will not do. This is what prevents the silent killer of profitability. Scope creep.
And scope creep is where that 10% margin we talked about earlier it vanishes instantly, doesn't it?
It's gone. If your original proposal covers 4 specific tasks, and the client, being amiable, slowly adds 2 or 3 more small tasks without any adjustment to the fee, you've just absorbed 50 to 75% of your profit margin into unpaid labor.
Wow.
Clear scope forces both parties to align on the definition of success, and it ensures your bottom line is protected before the project even begins. If a client can't clearly articulate the scope of the problem and the desired outcome, they are a high-risk engagement that must be declined or at the very least rigorously redefined.
Okay. And finally, we have 3 related indicators of operational health. You said they function almost as a litmus test for the right kind of client.
They really do.
The work must be not rushed, not underpriced, and crucially, not stressful.
These 3 are almost always intertwined. They're a package deal, and they are powerful indicators of client respect. If the work is underpriced, the client invariably expects it to be rushed to justify their low-cost investment, and rushed, underpriced work is inherently stressful for the consultant. It means late nights, poor quality control, and just resentment builds up.
And the opposite is true for high-value work.
Conversely, yes, high-value work, the right work, suggests a client who respects the process. They provide reasonable timelines because they value strategic thought over frantic execution. They understand that premium results require focused time.
And that ties into the stress factor.
Directly. Eliminating stress is not a comfort. It's not a luxury. It's an economic requirement for sustained six-figure performance. Because stress, as we already established, depletes the cognitive resources you need for your next big win.
I love that not stressful actually makes the list. It's the ultimate operational requirement for staying at peak performance. The right work has to be healthy for the business and for the professional.
It has to be sustainable. Otherwise, you just burn out.
Okay, so we have thoroughly defined the toxic nature of the wrong work and laid out that positive framework, those 7 pillars of the right work. The core truth of this six-figure freelancers analysis just keeps coming back to this. The problem isn't getting work. It's about operationalizing your selection process to get the right work.
It's about building a better door.
So how do we move from knowledge to implementation? What structural changes does a consultant need to implement to filter out all that noise and attract the respect that defines a high-level professional?
This is where we build the gate. The
Okay.
research specifies 3 key non-negotiable filters that have to act as gatekeepers.
And these filters, they're not about being arrogant or exclusive, are they?
Not at all. Filters are not about making yourself exclusive for exclusivity's sake. They manage demand, they instantly communicate respect for your expertise, and they fundamentally shift your business dynamics.
So it's a strategic shift.
It's the transition point. They stop the professional from proactively chasing noise and start operating with a kind of magnetic appeal that attracts qualified clients. Without these gates, every low-value inquiry makes it onto your calendar, and it consumes your most critical resource, your time.
Okay, so let's get into them. Filter number 1, clear pricing. We talked about pricing as an identity marker, but how does setting clear, non-negotiable pricing act as such an effective gatekeeper?
It's the most immediate, it's the most brutal, and it's the most effective gatekeeper you have. Because it forces the client to immediately self-qualify.
They do the work for you.
They do the work for you. If your strategic roadmap package is clearly listed on your website at $25,000, anyone who budgeted for a $1,500 deliverable instantly screens themselves out.
And you never even had to get on the phone.
You never have to waste 30 minutes on a qualification call explaining your value, getting your hopes up, only to discover that massive budget misalignment at the very end. This one filter saves incredible amounts of administrative time and mental energy.
So it's not just about the money, it's about optimizing your sales funnel by just eliminating the tire kickers right at the start.
Absolutely. And there's a psychological component too. Clear, firm pricing communicates profound confidence in your value.
That makes sense.
When you're willing to negotiate or offer bespoke discounts really early in the conversation, the client assumes they have leverage. They assume your value is soft, that it's negotiable.
Right.
When you hold firm on a defined price, you signal that you're selling a predictable, defined outcome, not just trading your hours for dollars. Clients who respect expertise will respect the price. Those who try to haggle or lowball you are automatically signaling that they align with that low-value, high-stress profile we identified.
The price becomes the first test of respect.
It's the very first test.
Okay, moving to filter number 2, clear offer. We mentioned the importance of repeatability, and this filter sounds like the external manifestation of that idea. Why is defining a specific productized service package like the 6-week digital transformation sprint, why is that such a necessary gate?
A clear offer minimizes confusion. That's the first thing. And it focuses the client on a specific high-value outcome that you are uniquely prepared to deliver. General services like, I help with digital marketing.
That's so vague.
It invites massive, undefined problems. A clear offer using a concrete formula like your 8-week revenue optimization solution for B2B SaaS founders, that tells the client precisely what problem you solve, for whom, and what the defined result will be.
That shifts the whole client interaction, doesn't it? Instead of me trying to figure out their problem on a discovery call, they come to me saying, I need that thing you do.
Precisely. It shifts the consultant from being an order taker, where the client dictates some vague solution they thought, up to being the expert solution provider, where you, the consultant, dictate the proven, repeatable path to the result.
So you're in the driver's seat from day one.
You are. This clear offer instantly reinforces your expertise. It prevents you from having to define the scope on the fly, which always leads to undervaluation. And it protects your ability to execute repeatably and profitably. That's crucial for scaling. It essentially productizes your knowledge, and it allows you to charge for the value of the outcome, not the quantity of your effort.
And that brings us to the final gatekeeper, filter number 3, a clear niche. Can you just reiterate the power of specialization as the ultimate magnetic force for high-value work?
A clear niche is the final powerful barrier that ensures only the absolute highest quality inquiries even reach you in the first place.
How does that work in practice?
When you are the recognized specialist, the expert focused only on, say, post-merger integration strategy for regional community banks, you instantly communicate unparalleled expertise and relevance. You're signaling that you are not a generalist fill-in. You are the specific surgical solution required for a very high-stakes problem.
So the clarity of the niche, it acts as a self-selection tool for the client, doesn't it?
It does. Think about it. Generalists compete on price because their expertise is ubiquitous. There are a million of them.
Right.
Specialists compete on reputation, on results, and on authority. And that allows them to charge a massive premium. By having a sharp, defined niche, you ensure that the only clients who reach out are those who are actively searching for your specific, specialized solution.
The ones who already respect your expertise because they had to find you?
They sought you out. This eliminates the vast majority of low-value generalist inquiries before they ever happen.
So when you put them all together, the clarity of the niche, the offer, and the pricing, when all three of those are established, the overall outcome is a complete transformation of the business.
It really is.
You shift from that desperate chasing to this magnetic interaction, where you're only engaging clients who inherently respect your process and are willing to pay the premium required for six-figure consulting.
It's the difference between being a commodity and being a destination.
Yeah.
You are no longer scrambling for work,
Oh.
you are curating it.
Yeah. This has been a critical six-figure freelancers analysis of really the strategic mindset required to move from being merely busy to being truly successful. To recap the core message here, achieving high professional success is far less about relentless acceptance and far more about intentional refusal and crystal clear self-definition.
If you take away one single principle from this entire session, let it be the defining one. Great consultants.
Yeah.
They are not defined by what they accept, or even by how many hours they log. They're defined by what they decline.
That's powerful.
Strategic declination is not a sign of arrogance or being too comfortable. It is the fundamental mechanism for protecting your capacity, your time, your energy, the strategic headspace you need to deliver on high value.
It's a business decision.
It is the core business decision. What you choose to say no to, that's what sets the standard for how the market evaluates every single incoming opportunity you receive from that point forward.
So, for you, a listener, we want to leave you with one final provocative thought. Something to mull over as you start implementing these three filters. Take that right work checklist we meticulously defined. Strategic, repeatable, profitable, clear scope, aligned with your niche, and so on. Now, look honestly at your current workload. What single piece of work right now feels rushed, unclear, or chronically underpriced? The one that triggers that energy depletion we talked about in section 1.
We all have one.
We all have one. Which project is currently on your plate? And is that single, low-value project worth the strategic identity crisis it is creating for your next year of business? What needs to be declined, outsourced, or simply finished and immediately phased out to open up the strategic and energetic space required for a truly high-value opportunity to land?
That intentional clearing of low-value noise is the first and most necessary step toward building the structure you need for sustained six-figure success. The most profitable decision you can make today is often the decision to stop doing something low-value tomorrow.
Use these principles to shift your focus, stop chasing noise, and start attracting the success you define. We'll see you next time.